So that one is imbalanced, meaning we're not really exploring. There's no exploration right now on the monthlies. Here's your monthly bottom here. The previous month we came there multiple times, which matches 7-day value area low. And your monthly high, look where we rejected this one on May 10th. Pretty much staying within the previous month value area here. So something to kind of take note of. If we are able to lose this level, as you see here, I think it really opens up the search for the next previous value area. And in this case, it would probably be this 3 sig, which is a 4062, which is, I believe this was February, right? We bounced right on the bottom of that one, if you guys recall. Remember, 4196 was the value area high. Let's see, 4192 was value area high. When we tapped that, we kind of immediately said, hey, make sure you have February value area low on the bottom. That's what they're accepting now. So this is the range they're pretty much accepting from here to here. They're accepting until they break this range. There's really no breakout mode. And when you zoom out, look at it now. You consolidated. You didn't like this area. You dropped down. You came back here. You confirmed it. Now you went above. Here you're trying to accept it. You accepted it twice so far that you belong here. So now, unless they break this to a downside, I would expect them to enter this range here, which is, if you guys recall, from before, it was like the 4088 level. No, I'm sorry. What is it? 4087 level or something like that. Let's see. This POC, yeah, 3987. I'm sorry. This was an important level. That's where they got the last bounce when they broke and they created this new value here. But when you look at the volume, let's see. Go on daily here. When you're going up to create the new value, just make sure the volume is following as well. As you're going up, what happens to the volume? Volume is not really appreciating this move, right? When you're breaking into the new value areas, when you're shifting, you need you need initiative buyers to break this with intent. And right here, I don't think I see any intent. So what usually happens in the stock market, especially for the reversion to the mean concept, right? If you're not moving with volume and you're finding new value area, there's a high probability that you're going to revert back to what?
The mean, the POC there.
It's going to be a high chance you're going to be converting back to the mean here, whatever that is right here. Let's see. So look now what happened. A lot of volume is here. So there's a high chance you're probably going to be coming back somewhere here. And this is your monthly VPOC at 3986. So let's see what happens here now. That's insane that they accumulated so much volume here. This is going to be a massive move, guys. Once we break this value area, the 3 sig up or down, I think it's 200 to 300 points. This is going to be a fairly massive, just like you did here. You accumulated for almost, a full month. You stayed in a range, and then you went, 4088 to 3505, 300 points. I think this one's going to be more massive than this one because the range is tighter than this range here. And it seems to be, this one is longer. This was just less than a month. And this one is going into 2 months now. So this move is going to be probably 300 plus on a move. And if they decide up, I think 4,400 is next. And if they decide down, I think we make new lows and break this level here that we had at 3,500. So whatever they elect, it's going to be brutal.
Shorty, hey, how are you?
I'm sorry, was that for me?
Yeah, Shorty, this is CK.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Shorty, on the downside, what would be your confirmation level that they're really going down? It's not a look below and then.
I think we got to lose the February value area low, which is 4062. Once you lose that, that's the range, right? That's what the range is telling you for how long now. Your sentiment change is now below this POC, right? The POC shifted down So that changes your sentiment, right? When we're above it, but right now you're not really clearly making higher highs. You're making lower highs, but above it and higher lows. So you're consolidating here. You're consolidating inside of a major consolidation. So there's a move coming here, probably I would say 80-point move coming in today, tomorrow, or the day after, right? I think it's most likely tomorrow.
I was actually talking longer term because when you were discussing 3987 as March POC, so I was thinking, wouldn't like March POC be the gate to that downside? Because at that
No, I
time we
think
have
it's
expected
gonna be
one.
this SIG here. Once you break this, there's gonna be too much initiative. You know how much initiative selling is gonna take to move this? It's gonna be really heavy volume coming out of this. This is gonna be pretty massive volume. And to me, this, if I was to hide everything, this almost looks like a diamond top right now.
Yeah, it does.
Like a
Yes.
perfect diamond top. So
And diamond tops are also measured move, right?
yeah, some people measure them, I just look at the levels that we have below, and I'm pretty sure all your extreme levels below will get hit. So if, for instance, if you look at SPY, I'll just remove this for a moment here. So watch this on SPY now. So let's see, this would be almost perfect here. This is 1 year trailing. So SPY next level of interest is right here. If we are able to lose this low over there, really you have the shelf right here. That was your POC at one point. The POC shifted. If we lose this POC right now, there's a lot of accumulation to trigger this all the way to 360. And I would say that's highly probable here. 355, 361 is highly probable. And if you take 2 years, right? So you go to May 2021. Look at this. Look where the POC is right now. So this is your 2-year POC, right? And your value area is probably going to be here. Yep. So you have 367, right? We haven't been to the upside yet. So in case they want to run it, but there's a little bit of, there's a huge volume node here that, I don't think it's going to be easy to get through. So they could grind here and then accumulate again here for a couple of months and get to the top, and then the sell-off start. Because there is a volume shelf here that's pretty heavy, right? So the path is easier to go here now at 422 and maybe even 433, 40, like 440, than it is to dip below. But let's see what they elect to do. My levels would be, you hit this, and then you would be looking at probably somewhere around 340s. So 356 would be right after that.
Hey, Shorty, could you look at 4 hours for a second?
Well, let me just make sure that this makes sense what I did here. Does everybody make sense? I just took 2-year trailing May 2021 to now, and you can see the importance of this level now. Ideally, we see a spike and drop, and then once we lose it, that would be a good short. Otherwise, they could somehow magically push this to 474, and I think they might use the
Level because there was shell.
I think they might use
like
the
big
debt
shell
ceiling.
below POC. Really?
I'm sorry?
The question was, will this 400 be the long run?
I can barely hear you. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah, I'm having trouble hearing you too, CK.
Yeah, you sound like you're talking through a straw.
I can't hear him either. I don't know what happened. Let me just switch to my laptop. I was on my phone. You go ahead, please.
So, I mean, these are the opposite, right? These are the extremes on 2 years, right? So this is your longer periods of stuff, right? I mean, it will take time to get there, right? So here from June all the way to get to the bottom is October. So June to October, I mean, that's pretty heavy. And usually downfalls are quicker than, going up. And as you can see here, October to May to move how many points? Let's give it more. So 63 points from, let's see, 223 days. So, I mean, it's taking its time to climb up. Okay. What was the question, Marcus? 4 hours, you said?
I just wanted to get your take on something on 4 hours.
Sure.
Do you feel like that recent accumulation we're in right there at the end, you can make the case for a diamond top inside of another diamond top?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of them here. Let's see. Does this have a turning thing? No, it doesn't. I think there's a tool that you can do it with. Thought there was a tool you could flip this. Maybe not. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, definitely. You get the point, yeah. I mean, they have a lot of them. You guys know the story about Kellogg and how they invented the diamond cereal?
Diamond cereal?
Yeah, Kellogg's had a lot of trouble in sales back in 80s, and they figured they brought in a marketing expert, and he said, "You guys are having the boring square cereal." They said, "What do you suggest?" He's like, "Yeah, you should put the diamond one." And all they did is they rotated it on their boxes and said, "Now in the diamond shapes."
Hilarious.
It actually worked.
It did?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's
they
so
increased their
funny.
sales.
Wow.
Tells you the intelligence of humans. Sorry, I thought about it while I was drawing that. But yeah, no, I see it. I mean, look at this. I mean, this looks like look at the weekly here. Look at the range. Previous week range here, and now you're inside that tiny. I mean, the move is becoming. I mean, it's gonna be pretty violent. I mean, think about this. This is your previous range. Now you're literally stuck inside. I mean, 6 points for a week here. And now you're not even that much. I mean, you're just. What is that? You're 410 to 413. So far, 3 points on SPY. I mean, it's going to be pretty bad. And I know it's boring to look at it much now, but this is the range that we're in. That's all they're giving us. And I don't mind it as long as the range of the day is somewhat good, right? But when the initial balance is as bad as they've been giving us, I mean, it's kind of hard to trade, right? So they gave you 412 to 410. They gave you $2. Then they broke it, and now they're holding above it. So if you think about it, this is somewhat bullish for SPY here. The POC shifted up. They closed above it. They didn't really like too much above the value area high, but still, you can use this value area high of that day here. Look at it. This one here is kind of controlling the price right now. 1354 breaks. You get $1 move, so you can take that between here and here. Highly probable that you're going to go to 414.54. Duck, you're funny. And then you have 415. This will be, if they break 415, I think they would be on the way to break out. But till now, you're still in a shitty range. So let's see. So if I was to, play this tomorrow, depending on how the retail sales go, I would not advise that you trade futures during that hour. If we break this 41.55, I'd go long, and I'm pretty sure we'll hit this tomorrow, 41.91, or the whole zone here. I think you will go somewhere here. And then if if the sales come below, and let's say you lose this range that I highlighted in red, high odds that you're going to be hitting the bottom here. So, and I think the move's tomorrow.
Shorty, do you think we could break over the 55 tonight?
55, no. The only reason, we'll take a look at it. Why do you think I say that? If they're confident on breaking this, I don't think they should have allowed it to break 48 tonight. They really should have held this at any point today. But look at this, even the candles from 1 o'clock here. I mean, this is a pretty aggressive seller on 30 minutes. This candle right here, if you look at it, it's an uptick in volume. It looks pretty good. They sold it off. They peaked here, and this guy, just made sure that everything goes below. So if they reclaim 48, you could literally drive this probably to 55. You're gonna have this little value area high to worry about, but some of you guys like 5-6 points. It's just getting super tight, guys. I hate to, I hate to be telling you guys, but it's getting super duper tight. Look at the triangle. It's compressing lower highs, higher lows, besides this exception and this. Even now, you could probably get 2 touches from the bottom here. So you have a triangle, you had a triangle, they broke it, and now they're still holding that. Look. So now it'll be interesting, right? If they're able to hold this on the fib level, it would be that 40 POC, previous week POC, that we bounce on. So I'd probably go long here. If it was to come down in this area, I'd look for a setup to go long in 3 minutes. Like if you get a nice little pin bar, break the pin bar, take it upside. And just pay attention to the volume. I know it's crap after hours, but whatever. Yeah, I don't think they break this 55 overnight unless somebody's tipped off about sales. It just would not make sense. Okay.
Oh, what time was the what time were you saying we shouldn't touch futures tomorrow?
Well, you have sales tomorrow coming out. So 8:30, the guy speaking 8:15. I mean, they got they got speakers all day, guys. I mean,
Oh
it's
my
up to
God.
you, do whatever you want. But there's so many news, and the market's gonna take time to digest it. Medica's good chart. So is that Jake on the bottom or? Thought it was funny.
And it looks like they really spread the news out too.
Oh yeah, I mean, the guys, it's gonna be choppy. So if you're trading options, I suggest you just look at it tomorrow. I'm telling you, there's days where it's better not to trade than it is to trade. And once you become familiar with this and you truly accept it, that's when you're gonna make a step ahead in your trading. If you feel like you have to make a trade just to fucking make a trade, you're not there yet. I can go 3 days without trading, guys. I just look at it and I wait. Unless I'm risking, $20, $30, $40, but at one point it's that 50 times, then it adds up, right? At one point I'm like, hey, that's just it, no more, right? And the conditions are not good. And if you look at these value areas, guys, I mean, just look at the range that they're giving you. 41.40, call it, to 41.14, 26 points. Today the value area was 50, give it to 51.52, so 16 points here, guys. I mean, come on. Like, it's really hard to trade 16 points, guys. You have to be, just think about how accurate you have to be on your entries on 16 points.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Like today, I would think I was catching like 5 or 6, and then I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll probably
I
get
mean,
one.
if you want to trade and catch 5 and 6, it's just risky to trade it, honestly. Because I mean, here, you look at these reversals. So for instance, they dumped it here at open, and then you get a nice little pin bar, you get some single prints here. And then look at this candle here. I mean, you can't tell me that this is this is not a bearish candle, right? I mean, it doesn't even close above this. And then look at this. They drag it, they drag it, they drag your options with it, they kill it. Then a huge pop. And now you're like, man, you took this bearish candle, you're going up, and look what they do. Whoop.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
you
it
get
was terrible.
I mean, this
Oh, it
is,
was terrible.
guys, this is disgusting to trade. So what I do is I just read a book. I mean, I don't have to fucking look at a chart. I put a couple of alerts, like I had a few alerts, and I'm like, okay, let me know if you fucking broke it, because that kills my itch to trade. I mean, I love to trade, but till you can deal with your itch, you just don't look at a chart.
Okay.
It's better not to look at it than, you know, oh man, I think it's gonna bounce because it went up too much. There's no too much, right? When I mentioned today, I don't know if you guys recall, I did take this. Actually, I was short here. I mentioned, you know, the reason why I was short was here. You know, we're coming up to this level, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see what they do. It was a pre-market accumulation. I mentioned it right in the chat, if you guys recall. I mentioned about this and NQ. When this was approaching here, does anyone recall what I said about NQ? Did I post this picture to you guys? Nobody remembers.
Remember you posted it?
I think you
I
did.
took that.
Yeah, so I posted it. I said we're approaching high volume node here, and if you look, you know, usually when you have this big of a high volume node that could be a POC, it's highly unlikely that you're gonna break through it. So for me, I was like, okay, well, and if you just take, remember what I said, how do you find the zone where it's gonna reject? Well, find the 50% of this and see what happens, right? So now if you look here, let's just look. Just remove all of these. And here's your 50% of that zone that you just look here. So this is the whole accumulation. Look, we came in right to it. You went, what is this, 5 points above? And then, I mean, you had a nice drop from this. I mean, this is, you know, this is pretty good. So if you took that, that's great. And then, you know, you had reasons to get out. So they're coming in here, they're filling this void. There was this POC as well. So there's a few things telling you where you could trim and get out. But that was my reasoning for the short on ES and NQ today. I should have played NQ instead of ES, but I just wasn't 100% in it, if that makes sense, because I saw what they were doing with the range and options. I was like, okay, time to. And whenever this happens, if I was you guys, ask yourself, should you release the capital? Meaning, do you go full position or do you trim your sizing? A lot of people go full mode when they should be, you know, half the mode. Right? Don't go, and here's NQ, probably going to the POC right here. Don't go so heavy when it's choppy, guys. When there's ranges and when we expand the value areas, that's when you're signaling that you want to go a little bit heavier. There's no reason to go super tight because you get stopped out immediately, and then you're like, oh man, revenge trade, let me double down on so I get my money back. And then what happens? You get in long, they dip short, now you doubled your size, now your loss is doubled, and then you just keep killing yourself. Wait for the setups, and setups are easy to come around if you're patient. Okay, so I'll be careful trading tomorrow. Honestly, tomorrow is just look at the calendar. I mean, I don't have to tell you too much. There is so much shit. I mean, all the speakers, they have the red book year over year. I think this is housing, retail, manufacturing, month over month. I mean, you know, car. I mean, there's so much. Here's your housing, the guy testimony, 52 weeks bills. I mean, there's so much shit, and everybody, each one of these guys can say something while you're in the trade, and it does the opposite of what you're doing. Tomorrow might be just a good day to enjoy a book, honestly, if I was you guys.
Yeah, I don't think I'm trading tomorrow.
There's days where you don't force it. And tomorrow, you know, unless they do what we said from the level standpoint, right? If they break 41.55, let them give you a retest. Let them confirm that they want to go higher. And then if they break this tonight, I would say, you know, for me personally, as soon as they break this red zone here, you know, my mindset's going to be a little bit, hey, let's see what's going on here. Like a little bit bearish, right? Because if you look here, let me just show you something. I'll just give you this. So 18 to the top right here. What do you guys see volume here? Guys, there's no volume being at the top. I know people think that we're rocketing here, but guys, there's no volume. These are the volume shelves that you guys are seeing. This is the volume they had all the way up top. This is what drove your market up. Do you really think that they're finding value up here? Come on. there's no way the hedge funds are finding a ton of value. Yeah, maybe they find there's new buyers, new long-term buyers that come in, but the smart, savvy investors, the hedge funds that usually beat the S&P. I mean, Warren Buffett's selling banks. Why is he selling banks if everything's okay? I doubt.
That'll be a big catalyst. Another one goes down. Forget it.
Well, they're spacing them out, guys. That's all they're doing. They're just making sure it's not as bad. And even the speaker today, I don't know who it was. I just don't care for them. They even said, remember how it started? I'm just giving you a lesson. When COVID started, it's not that bad. Once the summer comes, it goes away. Once the vaccine comes, it goes away, right? Then they promoted the vaccines, and boom, media stopped spreading, and it's gone, right? At the same time, your flu, you know, number of people that had flu went to 0. So the flu was eradicated, and COVID was brought in. Then now you have, there's no recession,
AI.
and now slowly
AI
they're
and
bringing
banks.
the recession, right? Now you had, inflation was transitory, right? Wasn't it supposed to go away?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened to inflation? Oh, it's a little sticky, right? It's not as bad. It won't be a recession, but there's a mild recession coming. It might be a little bit hard and mild. It's how they word it, right? They're slowly grinding it down. At one point, once they reach the lows here, it's much easier to drop from 3,600 to this than from here to 30, because this now would be a panic. Most people would be terrified to buy something here if they did a straight shot. No, why not do just a little pullback here and then slowly grind it down, maybe push it back to here, 3,300, then do another consolidation pop, and then arrive here. They're changing the tactic a little bit, how it's looking, right? So if it doesn't look like you're getting value, it's most likely because you're not getting the value. And this shelf here is pretty much the biggest shelf they have so far. And I know you guys might say I'm crazy, but this is where I'm going to load up when I have on my 401k, but it's basically 91% cash. Till it comes here, and that's when I become a buyer. Add here, and enjoy it. Because remember, we have to come back to the mean. And where's the mean? It's here. Let me extend it. How come it didn't change the POC?
Wow.
The volume.
Guys, once you lose this here, tiny little bounces, like 200-300 points. Think about it. From here to here, this would be a pretty good value add for them if you're able to drop another 34%, which means from the top, you dropped 44%. That's pretty good. If you take it a little bit lower and give us a 50% discount, I think they become buyers.
Oh, I can't wait.
It'll happen. I mean, I'm not trying to scare people, but I'm telling you the possibility. Most people don't think that market can drop to a certain level, right? Oh, absolutely not. They told me, I don't know if you guys remember, AMD was one of them. They told me I was stupid for thinking that AMD is going to go to 55. AMD did that. I mean, NVIDIA dropped, Tesla dropped. I don't know. I think CK was actually the one or KSN. When I told them the Tesla was going to drop to about hundreds, they didn't believe me. And then they're like, oh shit, it dropped. I think it's going to 55.
I'm trying to get my Tesla put. Just waiting for the
Well, I
money.
mean, you need to wait for a spike. I mean, think about it.
That's
This
true.
is, this is your shelves. They're going to probably try to bounce it here again. But there's no volume here. And if you just grab top to the bottom here, I mean, look, once they lose this, they're most likely headed to 111. And then the next spike, this is the shelf that bounced. Shortly after that, there's not much stopping it till the favorite number here. 69. Yeah. So I mean, you know, you have to start believing in volume profile and what it's telling you, right? So volume is the only thing that confirms the price action. And if you're going up on fluff on 10 air, you're gonna come down fast once that balloon's popped. There won't be much there. And if you're gonna short Tesla, where should you short it?
Retest of that the PLC. It's pretty
They
good.
might not give that to you. So here, if they give you 180, you're lucky.
180.
Oh, okay. I'll wait
If
for
they give you 180, that would be generous of them. I doubt that they give you that much. I mean, look at this 3-day candle here. That's closing in 18 hours tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah.
once you lose this level right here, I would say lose this. The acceleration is gonna really pick up, guys. Once they lose this level, let's call it 160. I think they have a really speed up all the way to about 145, and then small bounces of retail here, buying shares because they think Tesla is gonna make them millionaires. And then eventually you're gonna go here once they lose this level here, and especially I suppose I don't know if it's fake news. Did Elon really get the subpoena
He's speaking tomorrow night somewhere.
on that?
Oh.
On the Epstein case?
Correct. And some other thing he's speaking.
Well, that'd be interesting.
Hmm.
Well, let's hopefully he wants to, you know, practice the free speech tomorrow if he does speak on that. That'll be interesting. I think.
Where is he speaking?
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. I just know if he spills the beans on any of the names, I think Elon Musk is gonna disappear real quick. But watch out for the bull flag, guys. I'm just warning you. There's a high chance we're gonna go back to all-time highs from here. There's a bull flag right here. Let's see. I'm still short Apple, just FYI. This is my analysis for it. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this is accumulation right now since June, right? And you're looking at, you know, this is the second sigma here. I actually had a picture of sheep here. Well, let me show you something here. This is your 3-day profile now. And look what happens every time you're coming up to this value area. You're watching the ASHI candles. You're getting a little bit of momentum lost here. The wicks showing up. You get an inside bar here, and then you start your path down. Remember, their dividends was paid out last Friday. So just FYI. If they come to this level, I will buy more puts. Because eventually they're going to have to visit this guy here. Okay. And I also have AAPD. And look, where's AAPD now?
I might have to start adding some of that.
I have a little bit, yeah. I might be a majority owner soon here if it keeps going like this.
Wow.
Yeah, but I am buying some of this on every chance I get. If I can get, you know, somewhere anywhere half of this range for the number of shares I got, like even 27 to 30, I'll take it. Okay. Any other tickers from anyone? I know somebody wanted Baba last night. I think somebody asked about Baba not too long ago. I think it was Free, wasn't it you? Free? I think Free asked about Baba. And I
Yeah,
told
that
you
was
it's gonna
me.
be around 78, so it bounced at 80. And now it's struggling, right? If it wants to go higher, it has to reclaim this, and this would be actually a good long. If they reclaim this, there's a high chance they're gonna probably head somewhere in probably the middle here, 100s, 105, this POC here. Well, previous POC at 100 would be the target. So over this, you have $10 move.
Oh, good chance to exit. Thank you.
And then I think was it Disney? Somebody asked for. Sorry, yesterday I was just off. I mean Disney. I think what did they do? Did they replace the CEO again? Or they brought the CEO back? I think one of the company just got rid of.
Yeah, they got rid of the guy they had for 2 years who was picked by the current CEO, who was chairman of the board, I think.
Yeah, that Bob Iger guy.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's at the most critical level it's been for a very long time. I honestly don't see. I personally would not buy Disney here. Me personally, I'm not interested in buying it here. I just don't think it has. I think it needs to come back down to 30s. Yeah, I'm never gonna buy something like this here. I'll let you guys or somebody else buy this here. I buy here and then they just go, oops, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And I just don't see the growth. I mean, parks with how many, and I'm just thinking in my head what I would look at, how many shootings they've had in these parks, and not only at Disney, I'm talking about like they're putting a lot of fear into people, and people are terrified and going in these congested places, right? I just don't know, right? And especially the new kids that are coming in, if you guys pay attention to, how they react at schools, they're not very social kids, I would say. And I'm telling you this because I have younger kids as well. And, my son's like a butterfly. He goes to the park and he's like, hey, what's up? And the kids are like, man, what do you want? And I'm like, oh shit, like, come back. Don't go talk to them. And even parents, like during COVID, we would go to parks and they're like, we don't want your kid to play with ours. He's not wearing a mask. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That is so sad.
No, it is.
Sad.
And I just think the kids are conditioned differently. And I think parks, Six Flags, I think Six Flags is, you can write it off almost. I think they're done. AMC got lucky, with that, the short selling. They got saved by the bell. Otherwise, they would have been shut down. It's almost like a Blockbuster type of deal. So I just don't see any, unless they're smart and they spin off ESPN. I don't see why they wouldn't. If they're spin off ESPN, I would like to buy 80s. Otherwise, I'm not interested in this crap. I don't think they pay dividends, do they? No. Yeah. They stopped. Well, of course, there's COVID. They stopped paying right at COVID.
They recently laid off some people in Disney too here in our a lot more people.
Yeah, I'm just not interested in this. I'm actually watching Starbucks. I'll get the SQQ. I'm watching Starbucks. It's due for a major pullback, right? So I'll show you why. So, I mean, this right here, I know people think it's earnings. I promise it's not the earnings. Earnings are scripted. If you've never worked in the corporate world, earnings are recorded. You guys know the earnings calls are pre-recorded. Does everybody know that?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not like CEO live speaking. They only answer questions from the investors live. Everything else you hear is actually recorded, pre-recorded, right? And then they just hit play and they sit in a room for 12 hours and they think about the questions they got asked and bullshit around. Okay. I'm watching here. If you're able to lose this 103 on Starbucks, I think it really accelerates a couple of bucks here. So if you're playing individual stocks, I would definitely keep an eye on something like this. You have $5 move on a $100 stock. That's not bad. And then, you see these liquidity pools, and I told you how they play, right? So these are your major. This is a major liquidity pool. Obviously, they tried to go above it, and the guy said, no, like, you're not going to go here. Here, I'm going to sell more. So he offloaded more here. And now once we break this liquidity pool, 99% chance you're going to test this liquidity pool to see. Remember how the auction works. Always remind yourself, how does the auction work? If I'm not able to sell it here, what do I have to do? If
Lower
I
the
can't
price.
sell my shoes here, what do I have to do to the price of the shoes?
Drop
Lower
it.
Lower the price.
I have to lower the price to seek the buyers. If the buyers show interest here at 98, $5 difference, they're not going to show up in quantities, guys. When hedge funds buy, they don't buy $5 difference. They really don't care for the $5 difference. They're going to go for something major, right? So now if you zoom out, and let's say you grab this 2016 area right here, now you see where their value areas are coming, right? So let's go. You look at 68, they would have to bring it back to 82 and they would get some buyers. And wow, surprisingly, last time they brought it, they got buyers, right? So this guy here, once they bring it back 82, I'll be interested to add a little bit of Starbucks 82. They're a bank, guys. They have a lot of cash. Like I'll be interested to buy it. And if they drop it to, let's say they drop it here, I would buy with a little bit of larger quantities at this level here. And I hope they give us a chance to buy 55, 56. So I'm watching this potentially, you know, if they lose these levels, this one here has a lot of meat, about $10. And you'll see here, if you just draw, you know, the low to the high, like there's really not much stopping it from here to here, and it's about $12. So if you want to play this, sure, you can play it. I'm not really interested in this range as much as I'm interested in this. So I'm watching Starbucks really, really close. Another one I'm watching, what the hell did I press? How did I do that? Oh, that was cool. I'm definitely watching this CLX here, so let me show you guys why. They should be coming down soon. Oh, okay, well, they're about to come down to 128. So I'm watching this, you know, because I do want to buy this at some point, but I'm not willing to buy it here. I want somebody else to buy here. I'll be willing to add a little bit more. Do you guys remember when we had this charted? When we had this zone here? Does anyone recall this? Long way back, we said this was a zone that it was almost like a year and a half long. Do you guys recall that?
Yep.
Maybe not. I've been watching it.
That was probably during COVID, all that Clorox everybody was
It
buying.
started in 2022. And then I wanted it to accumulate it here at the bottom. I didn't get a chance to buy at the bottom here because this was a major POC. Look where they accumulated here, and this was the POC where I wanted. I missed a chance. But I'm really interested. If I can catch it back at 127 again, I would be a buyer here. They do have, I believe they pay dividends. I don't know why it's not showing. They pay dividends. They're a good company. Another one that I don't know if you guys still have in your portfolio, McCormick. This was a pretty good, you know, setup for it, and we got it somewhere here. I don't know where everybody's fill was, whoever got it, but mine was in this range here. I mean, and they went up nice, and I would not be a buyer here. Obviously, I would wait because right now they're about to test, you know, like an SR flip here. And as they approach this level, I would be interested to see if they can reclaim it, or if they reclaim it and lose it, then I'll be, you know, maybe looking for some longer puts, because this volume here was all earnings gap up right here. And this is something you want in your portfolio, because if they're able to jack up their prices during inflation and steal market share, that's something you want to hold. At least in my world, I want to hold it. SQQ. Yeah, they're beating up on SQQ now with everything they got. We're below major support. I mean, this is, to me, this is crazy when you think about it. I mean, NQQ is not even at all-time highs, right? But SQQ is at all-time lows. So if this catches a leg, man, this has potential to be a really good return. I mean, I still have a lot of shares on this, and I'm going to hold them till I see what they want to do. But I mean, this is, to me, this is a good buy so far. I think they're holding here. Look at the selling on the monthly. It's a bearish volume anomaly. I'm sorry, bullish volume anomaly here as they're coming down. They're really not selling off that aggressive. And then if you look at this, so here's your POC. If you can catch the 46, that'd be great. And we are right here. I'm pretty sure we're going to reclaim this soon. So 46 would be the target. Okay, let me check TQQ. Oh, it's catching some heat. But you guys see here, bearish volume anomaly, and SQQ has a bullish volume anomaly. Pretty interesting, right? Oh wow, why is this up? Holy crap. Wow.
They have earnings.
That's why Josh is asking, because he plays these.
I'm sorry, what'd you say? I missed that.
So you like these right before earnings, you usually play these.
Yeah. Trying to figure out how to turn my volume up.
I mean, it has to break this 80 level. I mean, this is the pain in the butt for it.
I don't
If
know what
it's
the
able
spread's
to
like
break
on those
this,
options.
if it's able to break it, I mean, it's just tight, guys. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, between POC and the second sigma here, you have $4, $3. It's almost like a snail that it moves. I mean, I would not even touch this, but that's up to you guys.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
They can kill your options, by the way, on earnings too.
TJX, good.
Yep.
I think Sunday, let's see, actually, I'm going to the beach with the kids Thursday. We'll be back Sunday, maybe Sunday night if you guys want. We can go through the stock watch list. I'll bring my laptop. Actually, I'll run some scans on my own. I'll post some so I can be ready Sunday to see if we can find some pretty good, opportunities for long. I think there's a handful of sectors rotations that we can find some stuff in right now. I really still like UNG natural gas. I think it's, for me, this is, re-add zones, and I've re-added some. But I think they're okay, right? Because now when the May comes, we have to shift what type of gas is being refined, right? Winter blend to the summer blend. A lot of stuff goes into the costs. So, and you can expect if you own a house and you have gas at home, you're going to be getting a lot of letters for, locking in your rates. Just pay attention when that comes in.
Yeah, they bumped it up by 50% last year. I'm just waiting to see how much they do it this year.
They're gonna do it again. I promise you. Look at this. I mean, like I'm telling you, this is, for me, this is a great buy. I add it here. I'm gonna add as much as I can here, because if I can get any of these runs from 6 to 34, that'll be good.
Hey, Shorty. Take a look at DPST.
DPST. I remember this one. What is this?
The triple leverage regional banks.
Bullish?
It's a triple X bullish. So I'm assuming we got to wait till the last regional bank fails.
Yeah, man. I wouldn't buy this here. Yeah.
No, I wasn't thinking yet, but eventually that's going to go flying up.
That volume is crazy.
I mean, dude. It's hard for me to justify to even buy here. I know the scary moment. Yeah,
I wouldn't buy here. I'm just trying to figure timing wise how to figure this safe entry for regional bank investment.
Yeah,
because that's essentially when that's going to start to go up.
I think regional banks are not going to exist in the next 10 years in the United States.
Yeah, they're just going to converge it into the big buys, so it's easier to control.
What happened to the mobile carriers?
Yeah. No time soon.
I mean, we used to have. I mean, I remember when we had Sprint. I mean,
Motorola.
I mean, you had a lot, right? And I'm not saying that happens overnight, but there's a plan behind this. And I think Feds want the regional banks out. And who's buying these regional banks?
JP.
The big ones.
Guys, this is Jamie Dimon saving US dollar. And you'll read about this after I die, and you guys younger ones might be alive, but you'll remember one day that Jamie had a really good business case and how he saved the dollar. There'll be a couple of books on it.
Wow.
Shorty, what
Regional
did you
drinks.
say? Sorry, what did you say about rates earlier? I missed that, but I was curious. You said something about they're going to be sending stuff out, locking your rates.
Oh, the natural gas, right? Now, soon you're going to be getting those postcards from your natural gas provider. Be like, hey,
Oh, okay.
here's an increase of 70 cents. Lock it in.
Look at Google.
Is it below 120?
No idea.
I think it's 117. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming up to a short.
I think you had mentioned the stock would be a good add in like the 86 to 90 zone, but there's too much bad news, and then suddenly there came out good news.
Oh,
and
it was
they
a good
raised it.
zone here to add. I have some, not a lot, not something I can, make a lot of money off, but I have a decent amount. But I'll be more interested, bottom level somewhere here, 52. I really do think eventually something's going to cause a black swan event to trade. There's a lot of setups like this, guys. I mean, just add them up here.
Yeah, even the banks are stocking up on gold, so something's happening behind the scenes.
I mean, look at this. I mean, when you combine Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, what am I missing? Tesla? Hold on, I had a trick here. Okay, well, maybe that's it. Did I exclude Tesla? I did, yeah. I don't know why. Let me include it. Apple, actually, yeah, Amazon. I'll add Nvidia for the shits and giggles. I mean, think about this. They might be buying some of these individual, but they're buying, guys, these 6 stocks are carrying the NASDAQ. Look at the, I don't know the ticker on here, but check, does anyone know how many stocks are below the 50 and, the making new lows on TradingView? There's one in Thinkorswim, I just don't know it in TradingView. So basically in TradingView, there's an SPX AR 200. I don't know if there's one. Basically tells you how many stocks are making new. I mean, NASDAQ is making new lows more so than making new highs right now, number of stocks. So that tells you that this concentration here is the one carrying literally the market right now. And if you take a look at this here, let's just grab from here. I'm just grabbing the bottom to bottom here. This is where we are right now. And here's your, you break above this, then you have a chance to potentially probably go to here, which is 1251. And it would take buying on all of these at the same time at all-time high level. Well, not all-time, I'm sorry, high levels. Pretty high levels where it's at and where it was to accumulate to go longer. I don't know who's going to be buying there. Unless, they know the plan and they know what they're doing, then yeah. I think this has to, you got to clear this up here for me. And then once you clean this level up, I'll be bullish. I'm not bullish where I buy stocks, but the sentiment of options and playing would be bullish. I don't like to buy stocks at the top for my long-term portfolio. Okay. Any other tickers you guys got? Oh, TLT. Well, I mean, somebody's freaking buying this. I don't know who's buying it, but they're buying it. All right. So let's see. I think it's being accumulated here. I mean, look at this buying levels here. I think it's seller's exhaustion, and I think they're accumulating here. And if they're buying gold and they're buying this, right? I mean, Warren Buffett has a couple of, $100 billion worth of treasuries in his portfolio. I honestly think somebody's buying this bad boy up here. I mean, this is your stopping volume. That's your seller's exhaustion here. Even if you buy here, you have a 10% stop loss. I mean, I don't think volume profile is going to work on this. Oh, it will. I mean, this is your shelf here if you wanted to buy it. If it comes up to 97, might not be a bad buy. Any spike will probably head on over here. And look where we're rejecting, right at the gap. So I think this is not a bad hold, potentially, dependent what happens here soon. Let's see what the next bank is to fail. One more bank fails, I think this starts turning around a little bit. This is a bullish Harami in 6 months.
EMF is a triple leverage on that.
EMF.
T as in Thomas, M as in Mary Frank.
Oh, wow. Somebody's buying this. Wow. Holy moly, look at that volume. Hold on, actually, let me write this down.
As soon as they cut rates, that'll fly up.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting find. TMF. I never heard of it. This is a risky buy, but I'll buy a little bit here. Because if this takes off, just like UNG, I think you can reach some numbers fairly high here. Let's see, where did they sell off from? Man, they didn't even sell off at volume here. Man, look at that. Did I extend this all the way? I did. Okay. So they had some volume here, which is they sold it off. Resold. That's a lot of volume here. March. If I can catch this at 7, I'd be a happy buyer here. Look at that range right here, POC to here, 720. I'll be a buyer on this. Did you buy any of this?
No, I haven't gotten it yet. There's a weekly bottom cloud at 7:33.
Closed?
Closed weekly.
Oh. Yeah, I have it in my list here to buy tomorrow. I'll buy a little bit and then I'll re-add. Thanks for mentioning.
I was trying to figure out what, if it was going lower, if I, should wait.
I don't mind. I don't mind even buying here. I mean, I won't buy full quantity. Maybe buy 5,000 worth, and then if it comes here, I'll increase it, triple it. But this doesn't look bad. I know it looks like a bear flag, but I don't care for bear flags or bull flags. All right, guys. Well, let's see what tomorrow brings. Hopefully, you guys don't get too excited. It's gonna be choppy with these speakers. They're gonna say a couple of words, and it's gonna pop and drop. They're gonna say a sentence, pops. They're gonna take it back, drops. So be happy with profits tomorrow. Don't be greedy. You're gonna get slaughtered.
Thank you, Shorty.
Thank you,
All right,
Shorty.
guys. Have a good night.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
Shorty.
Good night.
Thanks, Shorty. Good night.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Shorty.
Good day, guys.
Good night, all.